Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio today with Tony Finn from Wager Talk and Preston, the sports cheetah, also of Wager Talk. We're going to break down a couple college basketball games for you here in this video and another. And guys, we got a great one to kick it off. We got Kansas at Kentucky. Both teams ironically lost, though. We're taping on Wednesday. They both played last night on the road. Both teams lost. I got to ask you, I'll throw it out to you, Preston, first. Do you think these two got caught looking ahead a little bit to what they had coming up on Saturday?
I don't think so. I mean, both of the teams they played are pretty good. You know, they're not teams that, I mean, to an extent, I think you're right. They could have been talking about it or hearing people discussing it. And, yeah, you maybe look ahead just subconsciously, I should say, not unconsciously. Hopefully not unconsciously. But I think ultimately they just played teams that played well. I mean, last night Kentucky, I think they were 4 of 25 from three, and or it was 6 of 25, but they made 3 of their last 4 in garbage time. I mean, they were like 3 of 20 at one point, 15% from 3, and a lot of them were good looks, so they just were missing shots. And I don't think that's necessarily because they were looking ahead to Kansas, you know. And to be frank, I don't think they should be shooting that many threes. They don't need to. I mean, it's great when they're hitting, but if they're not, they shouldn't be chucking 25 threes a game because they can beat you in so many other ways. So I think they'll adjust it. You know, I think it's fine. But you have to credit Tennessee and obviously it was West Virginia, right? That they beat Kansas. They were the favorite. I mean, they got the win. So I don't think you can really discredit the wins that Tennessee and West Virginia got.
West Virginia, Tony, is a team that's a tough place to go into. And I've talked about it several times with the Big 12 because it's not really geographically a Big 12 scope, you know, with the travel to go there and having the big game coming up on Saturday. So I thought last night of the two teams, I thought Kansas was in the tougher spot going into West Virginia. West Virginia had already knocked off number 1 team Baylor earlier in the year on that floor, and Kansas going there. But as you talked about last night with the shooting with Kentucky, that was the first time in 7 games that they shot less than 50%. I mean, Kentucky's shot the lights out of the basketball all season, and last night they didn't. Tony, I'll go to you. I know you know this Kansas basketball team pretty good. This is from your neck of the woods before you moved to Vegas. Tell us your thoughts on this one.
These are two, going into Saturday's game, these are two good teams. They're not head and shoulders great, better than any of the top 10 teams in the country, the top 20 for that matter. Kentucky, if you value the ATS and you like against the spread as being some kind of reflection on ability, then you got to like Kentucky here. Since Azubuike, the center for Kansas, a young freshman, was hurt, Kansas plays a 4-guard set. They're very soft. They don't protect the rim very well. And as Preston said, Kentucky won't be chucking up 25 three-pointers against Kansas. They should be going inside, and they're the better team in this situation. And Self really is a guy who concentrates on conference basketball. 12 straight conference championships, or 13 straight, on his 13th straight. He's more concerned. He's not really concerned about this non-con game on Saturday against Kentucky. Sure, and having a number 1 seed, winning a big game like this is important. However, Wednesday they play Baylor. Mm-hmm. So much of what I believe, and I know, knowing Bill Self, what Kansas does tonight, or what Baylor does tonight against Texas Tech, is going to influence how Bill Self plays this game on Saturday. Wednesday's game against Baylor, much bigger. Against the spread, Kentucky's been head and shoulders better than Kansas this year. Kansas is a 67% proposition against overall.
All right, well, you make this line, Preston, 6.5. I personally make it 6, so we're on the same page there. If we get those type of numbers, what are you looking at in this one?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of Tony's sentiments. I think it's Kentucky or nothing for a lot of the conference stuff that he mentioned. I think those are great points. And ultimately, this actual scheming and the way Calipari Perry is going to go into it after what he watched against Tennessee, I mean, they should just be attacking the basket all game, getting any of the Kansas bigs that can play in foul trouble early. The guard's going to be scrambling. I mean, they could really just beat them up. And honestly, I think this might get ugly. I actually do like Kentucky quite a bit.
I'm with Preston, really, and I like Kansas. Grew up in Lawrence, know the team well, but this is Kentucky's game to lose.
Yeah. I'm on the fence with this one. If the line would get north of the 6.5, if it would get to 7, if the public would come in and overreact to Kansas getting blown out at West Virginia. I might be tempted to take the dog here, but I don't think that it's going to get that high, so it's probably not going to have me in there. But I can't argue with anything you guys say there. Definitely going to be a good game there. So you got 2 definites on Kentucky. If the line comes over 7, I would be inclined to look at Kansas, but I don't think it'll come there and would leave me on the fence with this one. Guys, don't forget, Weekend All Access, $59. You can pick up your favorite capper, get all of his plays Thursday through Sunday. That gets everything he has. If he has a big 5% play over the weekend, you'll get that included in that package. Check it out at wagertalk.com. We're going to be back with more. We got another big college basketball game on deck.